And go diddly-o. Ask questions if you need to. There is 1, 2, 3, 4. The answers are the fractions. Now, do not ask me this question. Everybody listening? Do not ask me the following question. Is it all right if I have -7 over 5? And do not ask me this question if I say that's all right. Mr. Myers, is it all right if I have 7 over -5? Because they are all three the same thing. All right? All right. Mark your work. Each of these are worth 1 because all you had to do was be able to count. I'd like to think that the best and brightest of the British Columbia public education system can count. Any questions? Excellent. Next 4 or 3. I can't remember. Maybe even 2. I lie. There'll be 6. There they are. And yes. I can't hear you, Anish, because many other people are talking. And I'm old. Go.
Number 9 says, if the y is already isolated, is the slope just over?
Yes, because if the y is isolated, you're automatically in slope-intercept form. As soon as y is isolated. Everything there is out of 10, yeah? Questions? No? Good. There are the next ones. Questions? All also out of 1. Questions? None? Luke has made a frightening noise. All right. There's the first 2, also for 1 mark each. Any questions? Cool in the gang. I have a question. Why doesn't the flagship of the Microsoft computer line work?
Because Windows 10 used to download.
And there's the last 2. Everyone is Gouda? Gouda for grapes?
No.
Yeah? All right, now there appears to be an issue here because my slope review ends right there.
Uh-oh.
You have more, do you not?
Yeah, like 7.
Well, that there is kind of frustrating. Does it look like...
It's got 6 graphs.
All right. Yeah, that didn't print very well, did it?
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
All right, so that is, I guess I actually have to do these ones. Y equals x plus 4. Plus 4 and a slope of 4. And that one is 6x minus 20 equals 5y, so 6/5 x minus 4. That's 2x minus 15. That's 2/5 x minus 3.
I think you want 4 over right for the graph on 22, not 5. Yeah, it's 4 over, not 5 over.
You're right. Y equals negative x minus 1. Everybody good? 24.
Yeah, I think it's going to be y equals x plus.
What?
Yeah, it's not like look at 25.
Well, he asked about 24. You're asking about 25?
Oh,
Oh, what it's supposed to be, y equals x plus 1.
yeah.
That's the disappearing ink. Microsoft puts that in you there to keep you on your toes.
He's really smart that way.
I don't think Bill Gates has much to do with the general running of the company anymore. I think he's pretty happy with his $92 billion. He's probably just chilling a little on one of his many private islands. That's what I would be doing. I plan to be chilling with a significant less amount in the bank than $92 billion very soon. Hopefully, before any of your children get to me, I will already be chilling in my beach compound in Ecuador.
I keep forgetting which country you did, like which country you don't like. I keep thinking like Guatemala or something.
Well, that would be silly. 2x minus 8 equals 0. 2x equals 8. X equals 4. Should I graph it yet?
No.
No, because we don't know what the y-intercept is. 5y minus 8 equals 0. 5y equals 8. Y equals 8/5. And it's a good thing I didn't graph it because it's a big ugly mess. To graph the y, if I make them fifths, will it fit on the graph? Yes. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1, 6, 7, 8. Agreed? Now, if I keep that, then my x needs to go out 20 squares, doesn't it? Does it fit? No. So my x, I got to leave 1, 2, 3, 4. And I got to put my scale. Because if you hand me this, is that right? No. You must put your scales. Now, if I were a cruel man, and I am known to be so, I would give you just this graph drawn this way and tell you to find me the slope. And the vast majority of you, because you listen to what to do, not how you do it, would go, under the 8, under the 4, slope is 8 over negative 4, slope equals negative 2. And the vast majority of you would hand that in. Some of you are shaking your heads right now because, of course, that's wrong. But I still firmly believe that the vast majority of you would count that and hand it in.
How do you show 8/5 over 4?
What is slope? What is slope? So what's the rise? 8/5 over. What's the run?
Oh, 4. Okay.
4.
I kind of like, I pictured that in my head and it didn't look.
What math is that?
Division.
8/5 divided by 4, which is 4 over 1, which is 8/5 times 1/4, which is 8/20.
Oh,
That's the slope. Okay. Yes, Mr. Dollywall. You always reduce the slope, just like Mrs. Bag Crumble taught you in grade 3. If you can simplify a fraction, you simplify a fraction. If you have an improper fraction, you write a mixed numeral every single time. So what is that really? He waited patiently 2/5. Oh, by the way, that was out of, let's call it 2. Find the value of y to connect these points. 2 ways you could do it.
I like these questions.
One way, you could graph it. -3, -2, slope of 6/5. But you have to keep going until you are at x equals 2. Correct? That is one way to do it. Up 6 over 5, up 6 over 5 till you hit here. Perfectly reasonable, perfectly acceptable. Feel free to use it. The other option is slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Slope is 6 over 5. Y plus 2 over 2 plus 3. 6/5 equals y plus 2 over 5. 30 equals 5y plus 2. 28 equals 5y. Y equals 28 over 5. Did I do that? I did that wrong.
Yeah, I think you did.
I did that very wrong.
You forgot
Y
to
plus
distribute
2.
the 5 to the 2. That's
I forgot to distribute the 5 to the 2.
right.
What a maroon.
I got you slipping this time.
20 equals 5y.
Today.
Y equals 4. For 2 marks, either way you did it. Making that page out of 4, putting us at a total of 30 so far.
I found on the next page for the next question, the number came out really weird. But
This
the algebra doesn't lie.
algebra can lie if you forget to distribute somewhere. I did the right algebra with 5y minus 2. All right.
I checked this so many times that I'm just going to be wrong.
Now, the graph is only there if you need it. You can do this algebraically, but you can also do it graphically. If you were going to do it algebraically, then you would know that there are 2 perpendicular lines, which means line 1 has a slope. And line 2 has that same slope, but it is reciprocated and changes sign. And you know both lines, line 1 and line 2, share the same x comma 0, don't they? Because they intersect on the x-axis, right?
Is that in 0, 0?
No. So, first thing we should do is graph this. How many ways we have to graph it? We could slope-intercept it. We could do x and y intercepts. We cannot do slope point.
Oh, I mean slope-intercept.
So slope-intercept 3x minus 12 equals 6y. 1/2 x minus 2 equals y.
Yeah, that's what I got.
So I go to minus 2, and I go up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. And I can see that the x-intercept is 4. So x comma 0 equals 4 comma 0, yes? Now that, the second line has to go through there with a slope of negative 2, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. There is my line. Once I have done that, I have lots of points, I have a slope, and if I continue, I even have a y-intercept. I can use any of those to write the equation. I know that line 2 has y equals negative 2 for a slope x, and I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is my y-intercept. I could have done that. I could also have y equals negative 2 x minus 4, because that's point slope form, isn't it? Because that point is 4, 0, right? I could also have up 2 over 1, y minus 2 equals negative 2 x minus 3, right? And every infinite combination of points I could have there as long as I have the y equals 2. So all that is worth 2 marks depending on how you did it. You have to decide. It asks to find an equation of the other line, which could be slope-intercept, could be point slope, could be general form. If you have it in general form, it's 2x minus y minus 8 equals 0. If you have it in standard form, it's 2x minus y equals 8. So those are really your best options because they don't change. Point slope changes depending on which point you use. Yeah? Everybody good? Whatever you have, put it into slope-intercept form right now. If it doesn't equal that, you did it wrong.
The equation for the other line, I just reversed the slope. Oh, but I kept the lines the same.
That'll not be good. If the line is parallel, then what do we know about AB and CD? They're the same. So AB is 7 plus 8 over 2 plus 3, which is 15 over 5, which is 3. So that's AB. And if they're parallel, they equal CD, which is A minus 2 over 1. Right? And then I cross multiply. A minus 2 equals 3, A equals 5. Yeah? Yeah. I will allow you 2 marks there because some of you may have graphed it. I hope you didn't, but you may have. If it is perpendicular, what happens to this 3? It becomes negative 1/3 A minus 2 over 1, which is negative 1 equals 3A minus 6. Not going to fall for that again. Bring that over, it becomes plus 6. 5 equals 3A, and A equals 5/3. Also for 2 marks. Making that page out of 246. And finale. Put this into all 3 other forms, but I want you to graph it.
I'm sorry, could you go off?
I am recording this.
Yeah. And then it goes to
Now, there is no way for me to prove that you graphed this before you converted it, except that there'd better be a dot on the proper point to start here. You understand what I'm saying? If you convert it to slope-intercept form, your first dot is going to be, you're going to have a dot at the y-intercept, right? I should not see a dot at the y-intercept here. Actually, I will. Damn it. I wrote that question badly. Where does my first point go? -3, 1, 2, 3, and +4. What is my slope? Down 1, 2, 3, and right 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I did write it correctly. That is worth 1 for the graph. Because if you did it with slope-intercept form, you're going to get a fraction. Then convert. Does it matter what order you convert in? Does it matter? No, of course not. Y minus 4 equals -3/4 x plus 3. That's what we are starting with. You could convert it any way you want. I personally always go to general form first, because I know that in general form it will be easy to isolate for y, which is what I need to do for slope-intercept form. So I always go to general form first, but that's just me. And this is the way I go to general form. I don't like that 4, so I multiply each side by 4, because I also don't like to distribute fractions. So when I multiply that 4 there, that 4 cancels, and this side is -3x plus 3. Over here, I've multiplied by 4, and I get 4y minus 16. Then I distribute. 4y minus 16 equals -3x minus 9. Then I get it into slope or general form, which means x needs to be positive. So it comes over here, 3x plus 4y. And then that -9 comes over here and becomes positive. So it's -16 plus 9 is -7. And there is general form, his ugly cousin standard form, and 4y equals -3x plus 7, y equals -3/4 x plus 4/7. And 4/7 is our 7/4. 7/4 is our y-intercept, and if you look on our graph, 7/4 is just about 2, and if you look on our graph, what do you see? It's just about 2. Come on, erase. It's very embarrassing for me that I wrote 4/7. But it's cool that Luke caught me twice.
I also caught myself graphing the opposite.
So I'm going to say that's out of 4. That's 4 and 6 is 10, and 4 is 14. And the previous 26 makes this whole one out of 40. Whoop.
Wait, is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Is that 40? Oh, that page is that.
That page is out of 4. 1 for the graph and 3 for all the algebra. Gouda?
It's so much easier to make small mistakes. It's a lot easier to catch yourself because it's a clean process.
There are the first 2 of the next page. Please mark your work. CNC. CC. CC. BB. Hey, did we talk about, in this class, about Mick Jagger yet?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Radner walked in and said that's the one that Mark told us to worry about.
Yes, we talked about Mick Jagger, how his great-grandchild. We didn't?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, sure we did. Mick Jagger's great-grandchild is 2 years younger than his youngest son.
3BA.
Right? Everybody hear this? So, Mick Jagger's youngest son has a half-brother that is also his great-uncle. A younger half-brother that is also his great-uncle. Crazy, hey? But the reason I bring this up is I just heard another piece of news about Mick Jagger. The Rolling Stones are going on tour. Mick Jagger's current wife is an actress or a model or something, like, all rock stars marry. She's busy in LA. So Mick Jagger has to take his baby on tour. So if you go see the Rolling Stones, you may very well see Mick Jagger pushing a stroller around the stage. Anyway, I thought it was funny. And no, 3 should not be A.
I just realized, yeah.
3 should be B, just like I wrote. That page is out of 4. Any questions?
I wrote that too, but I bamboozled myself. I didn't realize that.
You've been bamboozled.
By myself.
That was one of my favorite episodes of the show Friends. When Ross invented the board game Bamboozled. Mostly because it brought the word bamboozled into the vocabulary. Because a lot of people didn't know it was a real word.
It's a funny word.
It is a funny word. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Dad.
Dad B. That would be one of my rap names, except I'm not a B. I am waiting that 1 second. If you have questions about multiple choice questions, it is your job to ask them. Because I cannot read your mind, thankfully. Worst superpower ever. The only superpower worth having is invisibility. We've gone over this. Yes, we have. And the good invisibility, not the stupid invisibility where everything you touch stays visible. That's so dumb.
Can you explain why?
Because then if you ate food, you could see it floating there digesting. Everything you touch turns invisible. That is the only good superpower. Everything you touch turns invisible. Yeah, see? Don't lawyer ball it. You have to walk. It doesn't make the whole world invisible. Fine, you can choose.
Yeah, I answered.
I'll give you that.
Mr. Myers, I
What?
chose E for number 6, but because I saw that 6 was a positive, so why intercept? Positive 6, right? That's why I chose E.
Okay, that's a point, right?
Yes, that's the point.
So it's y minus 6 equals negative 3x plus 4, yeah?
Yeah.
I know you can't see it. It's coming. While we wait for it to show up, I'll tell you why. Oh, never mind. It's here. Y minus 6 equals negative 3x minus 12. Y equals negative 3x minus 6. Because when you bring that 6 over, it becomes positive. A. Super strength would suck because then all your friends would ask you to help them move. Flying, big deal. We can already get in a plane. Everybody can fly at any given moment.
It's not the
Why
same.
not teleport?
Teleportation wouldn't be bad. I would say that would be second. Teleportation, I would say, would be second. Reading minds would be the worst. You think I want to get inside your minds? Good gravy. What a mess. The last thing well, actually, I lie. It's teenage boy. It's not that big a mess in there.
My mind would be very interesting.
Would it? There's 8 and 9.
It would be so weird. You flip out.
Teenage boys, pretty easy. Fortnite, 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 girl. Ew. Fortnite, 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 girl. Ew. Fortnite, 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 hungry. Fortnite, 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 Fortnite. Notice how I did not put shower in there, dress, clean oneself, grooming, none of that. Fortnite, 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 Fortnite.
How do you explain
My intellectual.
Huh?
How do you explain the girl mind?
Oh, that's crazy talk. Only a fool would ever try to explain any level of that,
Of what?
Female brain.
of the female mind. Any dude that tells you they know how women think is a liar. That dude is trying to sell you something.
Hey, you know what I'm thinking? Your girl thinking she wants this diamond necklace. I'll give it to you. You know what? It's usually 10 grand, but I'll give it to you.
Of course, that was appallingly sexist, and I do not really think that. But it made for good comedy. Since that is how I am classified anyway.
Sorry, my secretary.
10C.
Where are we? Yeah, I got C's. So for the multiple choice questions, you really do have to write it all out in this section.
11. C. No, C.
Oh, yeah. I got you. You're fine.
2 marks for number 1 in the short answer. I wanted the intercepts, and I wanted you to graph it.
X equals 1 and y.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So we are so far out of 13.
Yeah, boy.
1 mark for each of these. There they are in slope-intercept form. I will highlight them as well as circle them. What time is it? 8:45. We got lots of time.
Oh, yeah, 1/4.
The problem of Christine's walk is worth a lot of marks.
Well, it ain't really a problem.
So, 1, identify the slope and the d-intercept and explain what they mean. You get 1 mark for the slope. You get 1 mark for the d-intercept. You get 1 mark for the explanation. The slope means she is moving at 1.5 meters per second away from the camera. You must have something to explain that she is moving away. And you get 1 mark for the fact that she starts 2 meters away from the camera. All of that is worth 4.
No way. That's
Way, it is worth 4. Then, you get 1 mark for the equation. Usually we do equations in X and Y, but X and Y are not real life things. I do not say I am going 110 XYs on the highway, do I?
Yeah, because if X and Y were actual variables, you'd be going way beyond 110. You'd be going light speed, man.
I am going 110 kilometers, Y value, divided by hours, X value. You must have the D's and T's. And number 3, I will accept between 2 to 3 seconds if you use your graph, because of course your graph is not exact. What you should have done was used algebra when her distance was 6 and solved for time to get 2 2/3. I'm in a good mood, so everybody gets a point. Making that question out of 6. Making the whole page out of 8. And now finally, a very tough question.
You know I got this one. You already know I got this one.
The answer is right there. But the first thing you needed to do was figure out the equation, which is worth 2 marks. Now, in order to figure out the equation, you needed to recognize there were 2 variables. One was years, one was number of girls playing hockey. You also know that every year it changed by that much. So if that's its rate of change, 4,162 girls per year, then the slope must be 4,162, which means you have this formula right here with 4,162 for slope. Then you had to put in the points you know. The only point you knew was in 2000, there were that many girls playing. So since the girls are the dependent variable, that's the y value. Why did I put 10 instead of 2000? Because it's 10 past 0, the point where we started our data, 1990. Aight? So you get 2 marks. Oh, good gravy. That's not supposed to be crossing out. You get 2 marks for the equation. Then you get 1 mark for being able to solve the equation.
What the hell?
Well, you needed the 19th year, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you put in 19. That's a handshake. I would not recommend using that in your first job interview. Okay. Hey! The guy's probably not going to dig it. And don't do the Game of Thrones handshake either in your first job interview. I don't know if it's Game of Thrones because I never watched it, but that's what all those old warrior shows do, where they grab way up here on the arm. Don't do that either.
That's the brother handshake, like 2 hillbillies from Alabama. Brother. That's the kind of handshake.
Okay.
All right. That page out of 3. So we had 3 and 8 was 11. And 13 makes the whole thing out of 24. Oh, which I already had written at the top. Now, when will you report that number to me?
What about the other review?
On Monday, when we write our Unit 6 test. Second block is on Monday. Now, we have 40 minutes left.
Wait, what about the other reviewing?
You're going to record both, write both of them.
Yeah.
One was out of 40 and one was out of 24.
Oh, that was on 12.
I think it was. Now, if all of you would be so kind as to turn to something around page 264. Is it 251? So nowhere near 264. Now listen, please. This is that mini lesson. The reason I'm giving mini unit. The reason I'm giving it to you now is because it is very helpful in your graphing unit. But it is all algebra based.
Oh, yeah.
So, let us begin cabbages.
Wait, there's 4 more of these things?
No, you already know 4. That's what I am saying.
I thought there was going to be 4 more.
What are the 4 forms? Slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b. Second form, y minus y1 equals m That's a funny M. M, x minus x1. 3ax plus by plus c equals 0. And 4ax plus by equals c. And every one of those 4 versions has rules about it. Yes? You know all those rules, or do I need to write them all down in one place right now?
Let's just recap them again.
All right. This guy, m equals rise over run, which also equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And b equals 0, comma y, otherwise known as the y-intercept. Down here, x1, y1 equals the known point with switch sign. And MC above. AX plus BY equals C. A, B, C must be. Wait. A must be natural. B and C must be integers. And here, C above. Is everybody good? Yeah? Sure? You betcha. We use algebra to move between forms. Remember, y isolated, slope-intercept. Automatically, if you know slope, if you know slope and any point, then you automatically go to slope point form. If you know the intercepts, then general form is a good place to start. Yes, sir. Okay? Okay. In that first question, what do I have? A slope and a y-intercept. So what form do I automatically start with?
So,
Which?
not slope, we don't know that actually.
You would do slope-intercept form. Y equals 5x plus 4. Then you would use algebra to move it around. How do I make standard form? I have to move the 5 or the 4 and the y. 5x, I'm not touching because he's positive, minus y equals negative 4. And general form? Same thing, except everything is on the same side. Good? Good, good. Gouda, gouda. Swissy, swissy. Gorgonzola-y, gorgonzola-y. Gorgonzola is a cheese that a lot of people like, but I do not. I think it's grody.
So how did you get from that part? I see that you didn't touch the 5y, so you took away y and then...
I moved the y over and the 4 over.
Yeah, and then you just put...
Then I moved the 4 back for general form. All right. Number 3, what do I have? What do I got? I got a slope of 2/3. And what else? I got a point of 6, -2. So what form should I use? Slope point. Y minus -2, because that's the point, equals 2/3 x minus 6. Would I ever write y minus -2?
No.
What do I write? Y plus 2 equals 2/3 x minus 6. Yeah? When you turn the page over, you will see that we need that again. Y plus 2 equals 2/3 x minus 6. And then we will change it. Now, please notice, once again, I remind you, I like to go to standard or general first because it gets rid of all the fractions. And you guys are scared of fractions. They make you shiver in your boots. Back to the teenage brain, Fortnite, fractions. Ah! Fortnite. Okay? So that's why I like to do standard or general form first. Doesn't matter which one you do first because they're almost exactly the same. But I know I need ax plus by plus c. I need to get rid of fractions. And I see I have a fraction. A great many of you are going to distribute that fraction. That's fine. I don't like doing that because I know that you all are very bad at multiplying and fractions in your heads. A great many of you still, to this day, even you, are not aware that 2/3 times -6 is -4. A great many of you will do that poorly. So I try not to distribute the fraction. It's not your fault. Yes. But some of you will want to distribute that fraction. So I'm going to do this twice. You do not have to. Because once you have standard form, you automatically have general form. And vice versa. But I'm going to do this twice. Once in sky blue, where I distribute the fraction.
Wouldn't it not matter then? Because if you do 2/3 times -6 over 1, you'll have to multiply by 3 to get rid of that denominator anyway.
I'm aware of that. I know. But a lot of you, this happens to work out perfectly. What if it didn't? No. What if this was 2/5? Then it would be 2/5 x minus 12/5, right? 12/5 doesn't reduce, simplify.
In this case, it doesn't.
So here, then I multiply by 3. 3y plus 6 equals 2x minus 12. 2x minus 3y minus 18 equals 0. Then, of course, 2x minus 3y equals 18. I am also going to work that same question in purple, where I do what I like to do. Y plus 2 equals 2/3 x minus 6. I like to get rid of that 3 immediately. 3y plus 6 equals 2x minus 6. 3y plus 6 equals 2x minus 12. And then 2x minus 3y minus 18 equals 0, and 2x minus 3y equals 18. And you get to the same answer regardless. I don't care which way you do this. But I know that a great many of you have issues when you are distributing a fraction. Okay? Okay. There's another reason I like this way. What if this was 2/3 x minus 1/7? What if the point was 1/7? Picking up what I'm putting down? That's why I like to get rid of that fraction right away before I have to distribute it. Everybody Gouda?
Yeah, over 12 sevenths, and that's not a divisible, so you would still multiply by 7.
Yes. Yeah, you got to still do the same thing.
Okay.
And then finally, slope-intercept form means what am I doing to y?
Isolate that.
I must isolate
I want to be alone.
y. 2x minus 3y equals 18. 2x minus 18 equals 3y. 2/3 x minus 6 equals y. Is everybody good? Nothing new today, right? It's just algebra. Which, if I were you, I would get very good at between now and IB Year 1 or Pre-Calculus 11, which every single one of you should be taking. One of those two options. Every single one of you should be doing IB Year 1, but some of you are going to not make that choice. That's fine. Make sure you choose Pre-Calculus 11. Gouda? Grapes. Find the equation of the line that goes through there and there in slope-intercept form. What do I need to do slope-intercept form? I'd best have a slope, don't you think? Can I find the slope somehow? Yes, of course I can, because I know that slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what's my slope? Go! You guys go ahead and figure it out. That should be enough time. Everybody should have a slope right now. Some of you will have done 5 minus 4 over 1 plus 2. Some of you will have done 4 minus 5 over negative 2 minus 1. If you did the green one, you ended up with 1 over 3. If you did the brown one, you ended up with negative 1 over negative 3, which, of course, 2 negatives is a positive, and they are exactly the same thing. Now that you have a slope, how will you put it into slope-intercept form? You have 1, 2, 3 options.
We don't have the y-intercept going.
You don't have the y-intercept, but you have this. Y equals mx plus b, correct? Do you have an m? Do you have an x? Yes, as a matter of fact, you have 2 x's. Do you have a y? Yes, as a matter of fact, you have 2 y's, which means could you put them in there, which would take out 3 of my 4 unknowns, leaving me with 1 unknown. If you only have 1 unknown, do you have any unknowns? No, because if you only have 1 unknown, it's isolated, and you know it, don't you? So that is option 1. What could I write for y?
Y minus.
No. Just for y. What could I write? 5 equals, what's my slope? 1/3. What's my x? I have to use 1 because I chose 5 plus b. 5 equals 1/3 plus b. 4 and 2/3 equals B. Right? What is option 2? What could I write for y? 4 equals 1/3. What could I write for x? -2 plus b. 4 equals -2/3 plus b. -2/3 comes over here. 4 and 2/3 equals b. Option 2. What is a third option? Point-slope form, where I could go y minus 1, I lie, y minus 5 equals 1/3 x minus 1, and simplify. Or I could go y minus 4 equals 1/3 x plus 2, and simplify. 4 options. Do I care which one? No. Will all 4 get me the same answer? Yes. Of course they will. Everybody good? What have I done in the question for number 6 that is going to fool a bunch of you because you are going so fast that you want extra time to be Snapchatting and Instagramming? I have written x-intercept instead of y-intercept. And I guarantee you, if I didn't make a big deal out of it, if I just said go on number 6, half of you would start going. Half of that half would write for about 5-6 seconds and go, oh, damn. And the other quarter would continue to work it all the way through.
Then the other quarter is just doing nothing.
Right.
Yep.
I think by the fact that that whole analogy confused you, you know what quarter you would have been in. So, what do we know about x-intercepts? Yeah, but what else? It's when y equals 0. So isn't this 2, 0? Isn't it? Which means, isn't that a point on the graph? Which means, don't we have a slope and a point? Which means, what form would we use? Go. I like that song. I can't remember what it is now, though. Damn. What song is that? Where the guy goes, wah! At the beginning.
No, it's just that it was this guy doing karaoke doing death metal songs, and he tried to do like the scream at the beginning, and he just went, wah!
No, it's a song.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. Anyway, so y minus what? 0 equals 5/3 x minus 2. Is that an acceptable answer?
No.
It's acceptable. Would you want to hand that in? Because you don't write y minus 0. Is this acceptable? Yes, because that is point-slope form where the y point is 0. Could you also write this in slope-intercept form?
Yeah, you can write.
What would it be?
You have to go, I'm trying to have it ready.
Could you also have that in general form?
Done.
What would it be?
Ooh,
General form.
That's tough because the x can't be 5/3. So
I know. That's why I just said very loudly. General form. 5x minus 3y minus 10 equals 0. And finally, standard form.
You just move it
Gouda? Now, Mr. Myers. You guys should be able to do 7 and 8 by yourselves, and it should take about 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, no, it take more.
I'm going to pause. So there's the first one. And the second one was y plus 2 equals 8x minus 3. Yeah?
Hello. 1/8x, and then that would be minus 13.
Perpendicular.
Oh.
Negative 1/8. Flip it. And change the sign.
I missed the one perpendicular. Ah, it's gotta be easy.
And finally, what form am I going to use for line A? Will I use point slope form, general form, or slope-intercept form for line A, which is right here? Slope-intercept, you can tell me exactly what that intercept is?
What was the answer to number 7? Sorry, I missed it.
Y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 x plus 3.
Oh, I converted to slope-intercept.
That's fine.
Which is y equals negative 1/2 x.
Which is
x minus 2.
no. It is y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 x minus 1/3 plus 1 y equals negative 1/2 x. Negative 3/2 plus 1 is negative 1/2.
I give up.
Anyways, back to A. What form are you going to use? He waited patiently for someone to say one of the 3 options. Point slope. Which point are you going to use? You could use that one, which is 2, 4. But then you don't have a slope, but you could check it right there, which is a slope of 1/4. So it would be y minus 4 equals 1/4 x minus 2. Could you also have used that point right there? Or that point right there? And those would all be right, wouldn't they? Okay, what would you use for B, which is this guy right here? As he waited patiently. Point slope again. There's a point. There's a point. The slope is negative 3/2. You could use that point, which is negative 4, negative 1. Or you could use that point, which is negative 2, negative 4. In which case, it would be y plus 1 equals negative 3/2 x plus 4. Or y plus 4 equals negative 3/2 x plus 2. What would you use for C? There's only one value there. What is it? X. X equals 5. What would you use for D? Right there. Y equals 9. And what would you use for E?
That's the whole equation.
Yep.
Oh, I see.
Slope-intercept, because you know the slope-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B equals negative 6. And you know the slope is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's y equals 2/7 x minus 6. Gouda?
Did you go over to 7? Because I keep getting y equals
Sure.
negative 1
Everybody else?
What am I getting? What the hell?
Everybody else, start on number 10, and that will take you to the end of the block. What is wrong with number 7, Luke? I don't know what.
You're getting it wrong.
What are you doing first?
Okay, so first I have to convert that to, I'm converting it to slope point form because I need to know the slope, right?
Great. So 4y equals negative 2x.
Plus 7.
You don't need the 7. You only need the slope.
Yeah, and then the slope's negative 1/2.
So there's the slope.
And then we go slope point.
There's the point. Y minus 1 equals.
Negative 1/2. X plus 3.
So why are you going any further? That's done.
That's done.
That's the equation.
Oh.
Now, if you want to go further, then you do this. Y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 x. What is negative 1/2 times 3? Positive 3. Negative 3/2.
Yeah.
Plus 1. What is negative 3 over 2 plus 2 over 2? Negative 1/2. Y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1/2.
See, what I was doing is I was getting rid of the denominator, but I forgot that y was already isolated.
If you're going to get rid of the denominator, then you're going to get into slope. Then you're going to get into general form, which is 2y minus 2 equals negative x minus 3. X plus 2y minus 5 equals 0.
And if y is already there, if y is already there, how would you go into slope-intercept form?
From this,
No, from what our first equation, y minus 1.
from that,
Yeah.
you would isolate y by distributing and then moving the 1, which is what we did right here. Y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1/2.
Okay, 'cause the way I was watching Khan Academy and they said get rid of the denominator.
Why would you get rid of the denominator? Slope-intercept form is y isolated. The only reason they would tell you to get rid of the denominator is because you were going to general form, then going general form to slope-intercept form. Why would you convert twice? Now, if you were going to convert twice, let's convert twice. 2y equals negative x plus 5. Oh, I must have screwed this up. Oh, yeah. No, when I brought this over, I left it as negative because I was going too fast. X plus 2y, when I bring that over, it becomes positive, right? Negative 2 plus 3, positive 1. Now, if I want that to go to slope-intercept form, 2y equals negative x minus 1. Divide by 2, y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1/2, which is what we had right there without doing an extra step. Okay, Khan Academy assumes you're a moron. Khan Academy assumes that you cannot do this to this. Right? Khan Academy is wonderful for teaching you what to do. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes the longest route there with the most steps. If you know what you are doing, do you need this step? No, you simply do this. You bring that one over and you do algebra. Not that I'm putting down Khan Academy, but they are very good at teaching you what to do. Not as good at teaching you how to become a person who knows what you're doing. Now, 1 second, Stephen. I left you with page, whatever it is for you guys, number 10. The real simple way to figure this out, what do you see there? What do you see there? X-intercept of 3 is 3, 0, isn't it? There's an X, there's a Y. Then you'll know K all the way down. Good? The assignment, which is the next thing in your book, that is called unit assignment, is due Tuesday because you're preparing for your test this weekend. And when you finish your test early, instead of Snapchatting and Instagram and practicing your handshakes, you will work on unit assignment. Yes. Everybody good? Great. The bell is going to ring in under a minute. Have a great weekend. I will miss you all. Wow, did I time that perfectly.